Good afternoon, everybody. It's November 6, 2023, 3:06 p.m. It's Monday. Hope everybody's doing well and had a decent weekend. It's very windy here. It's actually beautiful outside, but I'm in here because it's very windy and they have been spraying the skies for hours. So I really don't want to do any work outside right now, although I should be. I'll stay in so I don't have to inhale all those toxins that are falling from the sky spraying around here. But my name is Lorraine. For welcome all those newcomers out there. I moved from Manalapan, New Jersey, in a home I lived in for 30 years as original owner. And I moved to rural Kentucky and I purchased a farm, lots and lots of acreage on the edge of a national forest. So what I do here is I raise chickens for eggs, guinea fowl, so they eat all the bugs on the property. They are my alert system. They are my alarm system. They circle people that are new on the property, including Federal Express and UPS, although they're growing accustomed to these guys. I garden. I planted, a bunch of fruit and vegetables this year. Unfortunately, I became targeted, placed on a watch list when I lived in New Jersey. Yes, me. After living there, I believe that it has a lot to do with some women getting divorced. It seems that the powers that be like to target divorced single women because we're not part of their narrative, the controllers. So if you're not married, if you're not in a relationship, they look at you as being what's the word? They want to take whatever it is that you have. They want to knock you off your high horse because, of course, if you're not married, you're not supposed to be successful. You're not supposed to be able to do it all on your own. But then there are men that are targeted too. They've just chosen to either not be married, they're single, living alone, maybe they're living with family members, and they're targeted too. And now, unfortunately, younger and younger people are becoming targeted because it is an organized crime network. Compliments of your GOV. It's state funded via the Department of Defense, Department of Justice, DARPA, Homeland Security, that shares all of your information with the fusion centers who send criminals into the neighborhood to co-opt your neighbors and local people to war against you with a slander campaign. So I'm going to read today. So people have asked me, well, what's your channel about? Let me back up. When I started my YouTube channel, it was called ADHD Alternatives. The reason is that was my study, my psychology study for my master's degree. My master's degree topic was on medicating children falsely diagnosed with ADHD and the healthy alternatives. As you can probably guess, it wasn't the most popular subject at the time, and I got a lot of backlash for people telling me that, oh no, I have ADHD. I really, 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 really do. Okay, well, if a bunch of psychologists psychiatrists get around a table and try to concoct another disease to label biologically, what's the word? Correct behavior in developing children, if they wanted to label that behavior as dysfunctional, that's what they'll do. Because then once they label it dysfunctional, they can sell a lot of medicine, a lot of pharmaceuticals like ADHD medications. And then they can have a whole generation addicted to pharmaceuticals. And of course, the younger and younger ages that they're doing this, when you're growing up and starting to develop all kinds of physical, medical problems, nobody's going to look back and say, well, it must have been when I medicated my child when they were 5 years old and didn't take them off until they were 20. Nobody thinks that. So you can obviously tell that it wasn't a very popular subject. So, getting on with it. I have a book here. I actually just stumbled across it. I purchased it a while ago. I haven't read it yet, but I started reading it this morning, and I'd like to read some portions of it to you. I was going to read something else about mind control, but this is very similar. It's Gang Stalking and Psychic Possession. Servants of the Master Builders of Illusion by Eliza M. Parr, P-A-R-R. What I'll read is let me show you what it is. And yes, you too, I'm actually just reading a book. These are not my opinions. These are not my opinions or values or whatever. I'm not saying that they are or they aren't. I'm simply reading a book that's copyright 2019. The stone that the master builders did not want became the cornerstone of God's kingdom. Shape-shifting. Demonic reptilian gang stalkers taking part in skits. And this is the contents. Here are the contents. And I'm going to read the preface, okay, guys? So, believing the world worked the way I was told did not explain the things that had suddenly begun happening to me. My experiences of gang stalking and apparent telepathy displays and commentary, some of which I was able to audio and video record, along with the observation of daily changing bizarre demonic images inside my ear canals, led me to research not just scientific papers, but also books on mysticism, spirituality, current neuroscience advancements, Illuminati mind control, that led to Egyptology and the occult. This book is the logical conclusion I came to from both my personal experiences and that research. The gang stalking agenda is about preventing man reaching his potential and keeping him spiritually down and as a slave to these entities, and for some, a takeover, a supplantation using living electromagnetic blueprints, the organizing essence of non-human entities along with technology and mind control to remove or sideline the original soul and implant these energetic beings within one's flesh. Does that sound familiar, folks? All to assist the Hydra in keeping its dominion over the earth. These blueprints are servitors of the serpent. They do not come from the universal oneness, and as such do not have the spark of the divine energy or soul. They are not intrinsic to humanity or the earth. They are demons implanted into and giving life by your energy field and flesh. Parasites to afflict you and take you over eventually. The gang stalkers are under the influence of a similar consciousness that is not human. You hear that, folks? Those criminals, they're not human. That consciousness is working against the expression of truth and the next stage of our evolution. The opened heart chakra and third eye. Let me just turn the pages here. It's stuck together. Sorry about that, folks. The opening of the heart chakra and the third eye, or enlightened human condition. A condition described by the ancient yogis. The renowned spiritual teacher, Dr. David R. Hawkins, spoke of a new age of evolution for mankind that he coined Homo Spiritus. Our next evolution involves the awakening to our true spiritual nature and potential, and involves naturally the recognition of and the ousting of the serpent. The serpent works in running the illusion from where it is within our subconscious. It works alongside the Masonic control system. You hear that, folks? The Masonic control system. Both get us to energize and participate in illusion. The structures of our towns and cities are upheld by Masonic municipals and at the higher levels of corporate Illuminati. This fraternity serves the original deities that captured and entrained our consciousness in the first place. Freemasonry is the Church of the Serpent, and its agenda from the original Anunnaki, the original master builder of a superimposed advanced civilization, and not the creator of the cosmos and the natural earth, God. They are two different beings. The Anunnaki and its serpent originally captured our innocent consciousness and entrained us into illusion long ago. This is typified in the original story of the temptation of Eve. Eden representing the experience of the primordial state before the serpent came, and when, of course, they had to leave the garden. The Anunnaki and its serpent permeate the superimposition, the illusion here on earth, and prepossesses us through our subconscious. Various entities guard the illusion and their place in our subconscious by psychic and other attacks because they rely upon keeping man within the boundaries of this illusion or superimposition, hypnotized and prepossessed in order for their control over mankind within the multifaceted illusion to continue. These entities are archetypical of the serpent. The variation of historical names and times are moot points for an energy that has an identical modus operandi to suppress truth or the human spirit. This it does through the master builders by their hypnosis of us with concepts and impressions. By their fruits ye shall know them. The serpent's modus is to control us. This it does mainly by using concepts and impressions which make up the material illusion, the playground that the master builders oversee and control here on earth. The serpent is the deceiver and also the creator of a duality. It is the parasite within our subconscious. The Anunnaki oversees the illusion here on earth and uses the serpent to control us. The illusory concepts and impressions seem real because they are fueled by our naturally incoming spiritual energy, or chi, which is diverted from our third eye and serves to energize the illusory focus of concepts and impressions instead. The serpent is an overlay on our third eye, intelligent, but yet a cloud, blocking our true light and power from our vision, the expanded vision of the third eye. The serpent is present within our subconscious, using this naturally incoming spiritual energy, or chi, and diverting it to fuel impressions and concepts instead. This makes daily life fascinating and what constitutes life experience, quote unquote, but it also distracts us from the truth of ourselves by dazzling us with the multifacets that make up the temptation of the clever and ingenious, ever moving, but never towards truth, illusion. As the illusion is the serpent's creation and run by the original deities through the fruits of the master builders, it guards the principalities it has stolen, the gates of the original metaphorical Eden or enlightened state, by a covert attack system of capabilities which do include invisible weapons, entities, and daemons. It's spelled D-A-I-M-O-N-S. I guess it's pronounced demons, daemons. This deliberate infliction of gang stalking and demons and psychic attack is what keeps those not brainwashed to the master builders' ideals of the perfect slave to their concepts and impressions in check. Thus, do towns stay mediocre, and as they are socially conditioned to do, and the serpent and the master builders, instead of truth, remaining in control at all times. The effects of the covert weapons are accepted in our towns and cities because the public is deliberately familiarized to accept their effects as being mental illness. The same with daemons. Demons. D-A-I-M-O-N-S. I've never seen it spelled that way, folks. That the upstart or anyone threatening to reveal some inconvenient truth can be attacked covertly and not be believed is due to this great lie told to society, and it keeps the people programmed to accept it. This is to allow the illusion and the serpent to continue running the earth. So, what has a vested interest in keeping us from getting back to the original symbolic Eden, of which each of us, in our own way, tries to create for ourselves here on earth? Surely, mankind is evolving. Things are getting better, more advanced. It is the deceptive serpent, and it is real. Demons, now it says demons, D-E-M-O-N-S, are real. Shape-shifting is real. Transmitting energy to change events and steal energy from a person's solar plexus chakra is real. Psychic possession is a fact. The serpent and its shape-shifting entities are generally unseen because they exist between the frames of the speed of the senses of normal human consciousness. They need a compatible energetic bridge to cross over into this realm and into your body. But when you slow down your mind, you speed up your consciousness. Your perceptions then change to include more of the bigger picture. And so more of the real is then seen. They can't stay hidden then. Hence their desperate and cruel attempts to keep you down, keep everyone's mind speeded up and third eye closed. Who oversees all of this? The serpent and those I refer to as, quote, the master builders, unquote. Yeah, that's why these gang stalkers, these criminals, the neighbors, create chaos in your life. They're creating chaos to take you over. It goes on to say, I took the photographs of the back page of this book myself. They are genuine. Oh, let me see here. They are genuine. They were of gang stalkers taking part in cruel skits. Only the video stills reveal the split-second shape-shifting that normal human consciousness cannot see. I was shocked to see these images as the participants looked human to my physical sight. Only their behavior was bizarre. If you are a long-time victim of gang stalking, you will know the perpetrators to be hollow, soulless, extraordinarily cruel, and that they operate like a one-dimensional group mind with no individuality. To substantiate themselves, they steal and wear stolen energy, parade around in it like new clothes, like a brand new body, in fact, while you recoil in shock, feeling devitalized and disassociated and confused. They are attacking the heart and our humanness, which they do not have. It feels like they're stealing your soul, your privacy, your personality, your life. They're trying to knock you out of your body, stealing energy bit by bit so they can supplant you. So they can supplant human beings and gain dominance over the earth. I explain how in a later chapter. After several years of being put through this gang stalking hell, I wrote this book to pass on my understanding of what it is and that is running these people, what it seeks and why. If you believe the world works the way you were always told it does, you will be in for a shock. And if your need for psychological safety is greater than knowing the truth, then you will never find the answers to this riddle, as denial will be your self-protection. You will still need to believe in things that are the way you were told they were, for your fake self to remain intact. I discovered most groups that uphold the structure of society, like the emergency services, councils, and corporations, they have employees that participate in gang stalking. By suppressing a very particular sort of energy, free spirit energy, they make sure everyone remains tied to the illusion that the master builders oversee, maintain, and control. It is their illusion that we live in. Humanity has always been spiritually held back and lied to. Those who have superseded or transcended the illusion and seen reality for what it is, a rare thing, invariably describe the enormous resistance and effort required to free themselves of control and the illusion. The resistance to the truth coming through a person on earth stems from the same energies that are suppressing and controlling you through the gang stalking. And this includes otherworldly entities as well as the master builders and their municipals. Those behind the gang stalking don't want you to know the truth because it weakens the illusion with which these entities control you and depend. They rely on you not knowing your full glory and power. My attempt in this book is uncovering the lie and exposing the master builders, and especially the mental illness scam, which they widely use to cover up the reality of these otherworldly entities' interference and existence in our earthly life, and of which the master builders' gang stalking and weaponry is a part. My hope is to make known the various strategies of the master builders, how they maintain control, and serve the Anunnaki, who uses the serpent, the mental parasite within us. Its main tactics are suppression of the human spirit by pre-possession weapons, daemons, and of course by denying these exist, and so exacting its full control over the smooth running of the matrix of the illusion. That was the preface. This is the introduction, folks. I hope you're enjoying this. Introduction. In order to conceal the lie of how society really works, certain historical truths have to remain covered up. Even though the information comes out about archons, the Nag Hammadi, and the misinformation about dates relating to carbon dating of the ancient artifacts, oh, yes. We are distracted by emerging technology into believing that our current society is newer than it is, and ultimately more advanced than it ever was. The truth is, for those willing to research, that intelligence and ability of a civilization does not die or go away and then begin to evolve again from some distant point where it was allegedly once lost. This is the version that mainstream history gives us. That intelligence and ability that built the pyramids has never left. It still controls our current civilization, but it just keeps quiet about it. Likewise, the deities. The origins of duality and the serpent are linked to the current master builder's illusion and progress in general. Getting rid of knowledge that is inconvenient or could cause an awakening of the populace to the facts is something the crafty serpent has done throughout history. At this present time, pro-nationalism is on the horizon. As many clamor for more freedom, further laws and restrictions are imposed to help maintain the authority of the rulers, all disguised as being for the people's good, of course. Religion was the predecessor, and it is alleged that much was left out of the Bible and other spiritual texts by those that wished to hide. I've been saying this for a long time, folks. This is why I don't engage in the Bible talk, folks. I believe some of it has been eliminated, bastardized. I don't think there's all the truth in there. What is this? What is this trying to protect? Has the world gone mad believing in shapeshifters and aliens? Or is this an opening of the eyes that were once shut? Are the laws and defenses necessary in order for the synthetic creation, the illusion, and the various lies necessary to maintain it to continue? Who does the fake illusion belong to anyway? Who needs it? Who wants it? And how does this tie into the gang stalking? It's about the total, gradual suppression of the free spirit and elimination of higher consciousness, the human soul here on earth through psychic possession, mind control, and the electronic attachment of daemons to replace spirit with a mentalistic controllable group mind consciousness that is kept within a certain limits, doesn't evolve, and is not human. An attempted takeover by an inferior element. Eliminating the higher mind state because of this energy is psychopathic and obsessed with control and the illusory. Getting rid of emerging light and getting rid of those people approaching those heart states is the same reason that the hive mind controlled Romans burned the books at Alexandria, to conceal more powerful truth capable of awakening humanity. It is indeed a threat to them for more arcane reasons, especially with the impact that the energy of love has on electromagnetic fields, which I will cover later. A glance at the entities on the back cover of this book should leave one in no doubt as to what truths they need to hide and why. Their agenda is about bringing more of these lower energies through the victims, and part that involves reducing the impedance of the vessels, the energetic resistance of the human flesh, making it weaker where it cannot tolerate the charge of potentially empowering incoming high spiritual energies, forcing it to stay at lower oscillations suitable for habituation by these energies. The serpent can then direct things more fully through psychically and physically weakened bodies here on earth. This is being done in order to maintain the continuum and the illusion which these energies control and keep certain principalities under the domain of these energies. Its aim is to keep the world from self-knowledge, which it, the master builders, can't control. The master builders rely on illusion. They can't control truth. That's why they're trying to shut it down, folks. That's why truth now is a crime. It is a more aggressive version of the same inner parasite that has been controlling us from our subconscious that is now being energized in extremis, in the gang stalkers. It comes from the same. This has to be present in us if the programming of the Master Builder's trajectory is to direct us here on Earth. The takeover is to be established the same way that a virus or full outbreak gets established, through an initial lowering of a person's energy by a change in their frequency. For this takeover to happen, the light bodies, chi, chakras, or universal spirit of the masses has to be kept down. The energy that flows, the energy that allows you to see the bigger vista and the truth is being purposely channeled to be taken up by various useless distractions. In this way, principalities you never knew were available are kept from you. These areas are experienced, and truth is revealed when the serpent is thrown out from one's subconscious. Spiritual masters have reported being attacked by these opposing energies throughout history. It is the serpent's gate, the ring pass, not that guards your clear vision, your glory, and your return to Eden, and it is the exact same energy that is attacking you now, using the gang stalkers and technology to do so. Chapter 1. Who is behind all of this? The possessed seeking to possess others. I've come to face with these gang stalkers many times. I can tell you by what they do that they have the sickest, most degenerate and unfeeling minds you can imagine. The energy running through these people has kept its secret hidden from the masses for a very long time. But this book tells you what it is, how it has hijacked our innocence, and how it created and manipulates us by concepts and illusion, and how we have been its sleeping accomplice by believing what it told us, that it does not exist. The brain state of these people. This is a network that is hidden and encouraged to flourish by design. It protects the interest of and helps maintain the master builder's grand plan and the current design of society that benefits Fortune 500 businesses, those at the top, keeping the powerful and rich exactly where they are. Subterfuge and excuses are made for their behavior as of its gang-stalking servants. The majority have been conditioned to swallow without question everything we are spoon-fed, all to maintain control that the world works the way that we are told it does, and the lie to the public that those who are in power provide us for a reliable, if unjust, society. The network's main protection mechanism is that of familiarizing the public with mental illness. Yep. This is so any threats can be silently dealt with, and the astonished victim of the attacks from this very, very real network being excused as suffering from mental illness. In this way, do they dispose of any threats to the system or its design or to themselves by tactics and technologies wielded to cause severe psychological damage with no one suspecting of foul play? Destroying people's lives in this way goes on all the time. It's done to protect the illusion from attacks on it by truth. It also protects malevolent energies opposed to the development of chi, or awakening. The elite depends on these malevolent energies for their control. Social frameworks and corporate businesses that interweave society, especially those that uphold its structures, such as police, councils, public buildings and institutions, hospitals, and GPs, have embodied within them a number of its causes, and people ready to be directed to defend any part of the structure or its originators by taking part in the gang stalking or psychological torture tactics, or by filing negative intel on those that they have inexplicitly been deemed enemies to the system in some way. Do you hear that? I'm going to read that again. Police, councils, public buildings, institutions, hospitals, and GPs, which are general practitioners, have embodied within them a number of its causes, and people ready to be directed to defend any part of this structure or its originators by taking part in the gang stalking. They participate in the psychological torture tactics or by filing negative intel, fake, on those that they have inexplicitly been deemed enemies to the system in some way. Yeah, the ones who are going to expose them. This network exists to deliberately hold people back. If these networks did not exist, then those at the top maintaining the controlling society as to how they want it wouldn't be in their top positions for long, because as new people with new ideas and increased energy come along, challenge aspects of society, the design would surely change. I'm surprised no one has picked up on this. It never changes much. There are many great intellects, business people, artists, charities. If it was true that innovation, originality, and talent could put you up there with the controllers, then the lie, the illusion on which society is based, would have been superseded by now, along with the old guard. It would be a completely different world if it worked that way. It is supposed to work. One succeeds within their design by parameters they set. One does not succeed within their design by attacking any of its structures or promoting a new or better design that could free people from corporate control. The elite depending on the masses sleeping and following suit for their power and control of the structure to be maintained. This corporate structure allows us to have more opportunities, but also a better understanding of living than our forefathers, and so I am not knocking the structure per se. My critique is with the master builders' excessive anal retentive control over our lives and minds. Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are the people, those are the guys that, when they were potty training, They were being pissed off at their parents, you know. They didn't want to let go of their poo-poo. So they would hold it in, hold it in, hold it in, hold it in. Yeah, so they were stuck at the potty training stage. They're anal retentive control. In later chapters, I will go into how this energy is the opposite of truth and how it survives by, and how it is also cleverly masked by untruth existing within everybody. The main factor is that of control at all times and of everything by those at the top by dint of what they are. The world bequeathed to us is a world of mind, concepts, and duality of which we follow suit. The grand plan, which comes from the original serpent and is carried out here on earth by the master builders, has always had the same objective: to possess more and more of the human psyche and control more of its principalities, cutting us from the truth and knowledge and leaving us all at the serpent's mercy. This is the evolution of the illusion, the possessing serpent energy here on earth. It controls and runs the world. By generating more emotion and thinking in people, and by distracting them with it, they generate more of the fabric of their illusion and the ability also to hide behind this illusion by programming people that they don't exist. This new world order, a global mind control, is their attempt to keep their hands on the wheels of their mass illusion, which, although wrought by the blood, sweat, and tears of generations of our ancestors, is still directed from behind the curtain by the Anunnaki master builders and is under their control. Government agendas are succor to their desires of the richest and most powerful people in the world. These are those I refer to as the master builders, and they run the serpent's agenda of distraction, illusion, and entertainment. It's what our modern world consists of. By throwing off the serpent, you are no longer blinkered and no longer run by the illusions of the serpents. This will set up antagonisms in those still under illusion who think you are disagreeing with them for not conforming. You are only regaining your power to think as an individual, but it is an eye-opener to how much of society is willing to defend what isn't themselves and is instead what they have been programmed to believe is themselves. It is a good defense to bear in mind that the psychological and emotional effects of anything false can be transcended by the false being replaced with higher dictums. Our mind, when directed by our consciousness, is very powerful. That is why they work so hard to limit it, to control us. By keeping everyone down and struggling to maintain their personal equilibrium, the powers of the structure used to control people and the hierarchy of the energies is maintained. These energies are the original serpents. These energies have always guarded the principalities of truth because their control relies on you being hypnotized and believing in untruth, their illusion. The illusion is the principality of the serpent who controls it. The master builders are masters of time, it being one of their illusions, getting you to waste your time, using it to get you tied up in bureaucracy, filing in forms, filling in forms, making phone calls, waiting. If you are targeted, they will send people into your circle specifically tasked with this bizarre objective of wasting your time and lowering your productivity. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Technology and highly secret brain-to-brain telepathy is also being used, all in order for them to keep their dominion and fight off opposing energies that threaten to expose or challenge the takeover. They attack the heart and the consciousness because these things are threats to them and their control. Now let's have a look at what these lesser beings do. I've observed gang stalking servants on several occasions entering a bar in groups with no other purpose than to harass, not taking any pleasure in the music or the ambiance or even each other's company, and even exiting the bar and leaving their drinks once the intended outcome of getting a negative reaction from their victim had been obtained. I mean, how sick is that, folks? These are typical gang stalker actions. Ask yourself, what kind of people would do this? If you could feel love, wouldn't you choose it all over this? Well, they never get into that energy state, having instead to circle and rebound between causing pain and or disruption for somebody else. Their expression of hatred actually feels better to them, and so must be felt as an improvement. What I've sensed is that alone, they're powerless and disconnected. They need to use thought and time to trigger negative emotions in others in order for them to maintain their shaky self-image and feel superior. There's no self-reflection, consequently, no real individual will. These people are the servants par excellence of this demonic psychic energy, slaves run by it, and so doing its work. Such individuals go out of their way to systematically persecute and injure by destroying a person's life and privacy, but also hideously telling of their differences to their victims who are empaths. It's the apparent glee they take in hurting a complete stranger for no discernible reason. This is why victims of gang stalkers are not believed, because the behavior they report of humans continually ganging up on a stranger doesn't make sense to any normal person. The way these gang stalkers have been observed to behave is the same globally. They have a commonality of observable traits. An obnoxious heckling or squealing when near or when approaching targets. An obvious satisfaction in persecuting a lone stranger by working in groups. Attempts are at traumatizing and result in temporary disassociation by creating a brainwave state shock or terror in the victim. They take a sadistic pleasure in doing things that fragment the personality of the victim. They appear to be telepathic and relate back to their victim in earshot, either that the victim has been thinking, what the victim has been thinking, or private information pertaining to the target's life, information strangers could not possibly know unless they have had the target under very close surveillance. Many victims of gang stalking also report being awoken by attempted entry of their body or auric field by demonic entities, or alternatively, entities trying to drag them out of their bodies. Directed dreams while sleeping occur with repeated themes, or the dreams are linked to abusers in a precognitive way. Victims report awakening unrested and disheveled after their nighttime confrontations in sleep, as if they've been active or been somewhere else and not sleeping. The gang stalkers have the ability of already being at a place to which the victim is going to go, or they arrive there very shortly after, sometimes just to observe the victim and to be seen by the victim. Once the victim's attention has been gotten, they often leave. They have no shame at looking through a victim's trash or overtly following a victim or filming them. On the contrary, they enjoy the power trip. Everything they do to victims is sadistic and cruel. They have the use of weapons that cause burns, physical destruction, that can cause changes such as tiredness and even unconsciousness or hallucinations. They have weapons that implant people with biotechnology, and those that can cause orgasms at inopportune moments, and not caused by anything the victim is thinking or doing. They are used as a weapon to control, embarrass, and as an attempt to distract the victim from spirit. Unbeknown to most is that gang stalking attacks are synchronized with covert sound that beams subliminal suggestions in the locality in order to influence behavior by hypnosis. Or dogs. How about those damn dogs, folks? Again, the objective here is to depersonalize the victim and to demean and persecute them, lower their energy, and to help to keep them ensconced within the illusion and under restraint by the controlling entity. They are able to create sounds or voices to impersonate any voice or sound as coming from any direction where the attackers choose the sounds to appear to come from. This is used to impersonate far-off people, shouting abuse, or even airplanes slamming doors, all done to harass and deceive the target. As the attacks are coming from fourth or fifth dimensional entities, it may not be necessary for them to use technology. It may be done by influencing the matrix or people directly. However, technology used in this way serves the same god. The point of their repetitive, sleep time, subliminal hypnosis, which is a form of psychic driving, points to attempted psychic possession of the mind, brainwashing. The gang stalking servants have an inability to experience profound or intense states. They are insensitive and brutal and shallow due to their exclusive left brain orientation of their brain maps, which may be induced by electronic weapon technology. They are not always in control here. The mind control influencing technology or non-human entity is. They unashamedly follow victims around as if they own them. They appear energized when showing off to the group while inflicting psychological trauma or abuse intended to cause emotional pain, and to those of higher awareness than themselves. They try to induce a feeling of loss of personal power in their victims, and driving chi energy down appears to give them pleasure. These people are friggin' sick. This pleasure may also be part induced by weapon technology manipulating their brain's pleasure centers to reward them for such behaviors. They have no rhythm due to lack of right brain activity and the inability to experience feeling patterns, and so cannot dance at all. Their movements are unconnected to the music, scary to see, and looks like someone dancing who got a brand new body that they don't know how to maneuver yet. Oh, goodness gracious. Could you see your neighbors dancing, guys? Dancing in the moonlight, everybody. They are obsessed with causing psychological pain and emotional disappointment, frustration, and injury. So much so that they travel to cafes, bars, social centers, gyms, not to enjoy the ambience of these places, but for the power they feel from the attacks on innocent strangers that they're able to unleash there. They enter the victim's home in order to gaslight them by moving objects or causing small but accumulative damage on a regular basis. This is done to depersonalize the victim and is an attempt to remove any feelings of security or autonomy, increase vulnerability, so that the victim feels scared. This induces in the victim the belief that there's no safe place to go, which is one of the same tactics used in Kathy O'Brien's MK Ultra trauma-based mind control programming. Another observation isn't just that unexplained, complete strangers seemingly enjoy expressing hatred for no reason. There's also a showing off that they can infringe on personal boundaries. My observations were that they openly gloated and seemed to get off on invading privacy. It was vampiric activity, and its intention was to repress and prevent you from going anywhere and enjoying your life. It is a reasonable assumption that the brain state of the originators, as well as the directors of these programs and some of the participants, is the brain state described as psychopathic. That's right, psychopathy is due to an irreversible inborn defect in the front part of the brain. Yep. And I will add that in communities, in small communities where there's a lot of inbreeding, I'm sure that happens. Psychopathy is more pervasive. Due to this physical flaw, the condition disallows the psychopathic subject the experience of empathy or putting oneself in another's place. They cannot evolve the mental tracts to develop conscience any more than a predaceous species of animal can, and so, correspondingly, can never be taught or learned by experience. They do grasp, however, the importance to blend in and disguise their psychopathy, usually to get one over on the quote-unquote suckers. They tend to mix with other like-minded people and only for personal benefit of what that person can do for them or what they can get out of them. Benefits of crime, money, status, or just to survive for the sex. They do not make friends for any other reasons and discard the friendship once its usefulness is up. As a compensator for their compassion disability, oh, I love that, compassion disability. We have to remember that compassion disability. The psychopathic mindset believes that it is his or her lack of empathy and altruism. It makes them superior and cleverer than everyone else. Yeah, right. That's their delusion. It is also a reasonable assumption that to redress that which empathy and compassion gives one out of life, that they must get their enjoyment from elsewhere, and that if unable to feel empathy and happiness derived from love, and the potential of enlightenment or ecstasy states depending on love is being denied to them, then pleasure for them would instead express itself as a compensatory, ruthless drive for power and a preoccupation with the external. So, by their brain physiology, they are the embodiment of the archetype of the parasitic overlord. The paradox of the jealous, possessing entity that has infected the subconscious of those here on earth and that seeks to increase its possession and dupery. It is my observation that these sociopaths are extremely bitter and direct their sadism as a form of compensatory token superiority onto empathic members of society that have integrity, that they can't control, and that are waking up to higher mind states because these people reflect to them what is missing within them. Told you it's a projection, folks. Whatever they do to you is a projection of what they are not. They tell you that you're a pedophile, they're a pedophile. They tell you that you're stupid, it's because they're stupid. They tell you you're a loser, they're losers. Right? Everything that they say and do to you, it's because of what they are or are not. Gang stalkers are a type of person that appears ordinary and would not attract suspicion to be otherwise. Oh, that's not necessarily true, folks. But their actions and collective participation in traumatizing a selected individual, and not for any act that a person might have committed on one of them personally, it can be concluded that something somehow activates this section of society to make themselves known to be unified by behaving similarly, obnoxiously, towards an individual person collectively. Unless one is a target of this group, one would never be aware of its existence. This is why, when you start to explain this to people who do not experience this, they're not sure they can believe you. They're not sure. They'll deny it. This group does not act like any normal human being, but instead it operates as a group, controlled by one identical, sadistic consciousness that appears to lack the ability to think as individuals. That's why they can't stand your individuality, because they can't be one. It is the bizarre experience of continually encountering identical abuses by strangers exhibiting this indistinguishable attitude over and over again, but somehow appearing in different bodies. Their behavior of the abusers is standardized as if they're all auditioning for the same character and reading from the same script. The most likely explanation is that they are subjected to mind control that makes them all behave identically. This standardized behavior is what differentiates these set-up twos. That's weird. It's a weird. These set-up twos. There is also a vacuous soulness, unconscious quality to them while this is going on. Elizabeth Sullivan's book, The years I have lost illustrates the obtuse, externally patient mindset of how these hive mind collectives go out of their way to inflict and witness another's suffering. It gives at least 2 examples of the abnormal situations these gang stalkers go out of their way to engineer using their own time and money just so they can witness the unhappiness or negativity they've caused in a stranger from these petty arrangements. One such example was a perp turning up at a shoe store, which the victim had phoned in advance to order and ascertain whether the store had in stock a favorite shoe style available in her size. Delighted to learn that not only were the shoes available, but they were also on sale, she made her way to the store. After ascertaining her intention to buy these shoes, presumably enabled via the perps bugging her phones and residents, the perps got to the store just before she arrived and bought every single stock of her favorite shoe in her size. A perp gloated openly at her, leaving the store with a big grin on his face, aided by the assistant who helped him carry the cumbersome amount of boxes of shoes to his car. The schizo abuse is very organized, but often very childish and petty, and always sadistic. These perps do not seem to fully understand what makes humans tick, but they know how to lower a person's chi. And if you look at every victim story of gang stalking, you will notice that this is what happens. Here's an extract from my own book, Implanted and Tortured in the UK. Note how the perps behave similarly, maybe even telepathically, and the trouble and planning they go to just to piss someone off, and the apparent glee they get out of such immature acts of persecution. Okay, now this story is quite long. It's several pages long, folks. I'm almost at the 1 hour mark, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to mark where I've left off here. If you would like for me to continue reading this book to you, because I find it fascinating, please let me know in the comments section. If you want me to pick up where I left off, if you'd like me to start on another chapter, and read that chapter, because it is very time consuming. You can see how big the book is here. But I don't mind going through some of this with you guys. I think it's really important to understand the psychology of these criminals, of these psychopaths, of these sociopaths. And that's what they are. And I apologize. At the beginning, it occurred to me when I started describing myself and the ADHD kids, the normal developmental phases of development, I was at a loss of words. That's not normal. That's not me. I could usually rattle off anything relating to ADHD in a heartbeat. I studied it for years. I interviewed children. I interviewed parents, my daughter's friends. And this is what happens when you are a targeted individual. And when the left side of your brain is constantly assaulted with energy weapons. When I wake up every day and from my knees down, my legs are vibrating from being pulsed all night long, from the surgical implants. I have scars on my body from being covertly experimented on. I photograph them all. I don't post everything online, obviously, for obvious reasons. But this is the goal of these people. They're control freaks. They're anal retentive. They got stuck at the potty training stage. You know, if you look at the Freudian stages of psychosexual development, these losers got stuck at the potty training stage where they had to defecate in their potty and would hold it in And they would get gratification out of controlling it. That's what these psychopaths are about. Oh, it's worse than that. They look at us as being weak because we feel. They're envious, jealous, and greedy because we embody everything that they're not. We're empaths. We feel. Not only can we think, but we feel. We feel sorrow. We feel pain. They want to inflict pain and sorrow. They only feel alive when they're inflicting pain and sorrow. I mean, you can even see that they've got a little hop and a skip in their jump. They're so proud of themselves. They're so proud of themselves by stalking your family and friends. They get off on it. They're sick. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I hope you like this video. Please hit the thumbs up. Hit the like button. Thank you for all the newcomers. Please, when you subscribe, hit the notifications bell so that you receive notifications when I post a new video. I do post every day. If for some reason I don't post at least one video, it's just because I'm either overwhelmed, I'm having computer problems, or internet issues. If I don't post for due days, somebody reach out to me, call me. That means that there's a problem. There's something going on. But I hope everybody's well. I hope you enjoyed this. Gang Stalking and the Psychic Possession, Servants of the Master Builders of Illusion. But just before, and we're still on Chapter 1, I just want to show you quickly here, folks, what Chapter 2 is. Chapter 2 is Freemasonry is the Church of the Serpent. Oh, I bet they're going to love it when I read that chapter, folks. Why the Master Builders suppress the benefic state for the propagation of illusion. It's easier to dupe people than tell the truth. This is why all the truth tellers are under siege. And look at the face here. Look at these sick people. Look at those dark eyes. They're evil, evil people. This is the back of the book. In case you're interested in purchasing this book, I actually don't remember where I got it. I have a feeling that I purchased this on eBay. And I'll just read the back of the book before I sign off. Gang stalking destroys the lives of millions. Then why is it allowed to exist? As a tool of the elite, using otherworldly entities, mind control, and technology, it protects the illusion controlled by the master builders and allows the serpent in everybody's subconscious to control them by concepts and impressions, a necessary device linked to corporate profits. The original instigators of civilization still oversee and control the evolution of illusion down here on Earth. This book answers the questions as to the irrational activity of gang stalking. After you have read it, you will be in no doubt it is time to awaken to long-hidden truths about how the world works, and not who, but what. But what controls it? Thank you for listening, everybody. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. This is just a cute little picture that I won online. Actually, I got it such a good price. Nobody else bid on it. I was shocked. It took about 3 or 4 weeks to get to me because it was from another country. But I'm so happy to have it. Hope you enjoy it. I'm going to sign off for now. Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Exposing one criminal at a time.